Before we get into some interior design ideas that spark joy, yes, I'm in a new location. No, this is not a new backdrop. I'm currently staying over at my best friend's apartment while they are out of town for a few weeks, and I'm doing a huge full apartment surprise makeover for them. So that will be one of the next few videos coming up here. So make sure to subscribe and do all the YouTube algorithm things if you want to see that video when it comes out. I know some of y'all are mad when I have a messy backdrop like this, but I feel like this time it's worth it. If you're new here, my name is Medora, and I make videos about actually realistic home design for the average person. So without further ado, let's get into my interior design ideas that spark joy. We're basically just going to go through my Pinterest board of anything that sparks joy, and most of it is home design. But before we get into that, I do have one specific example that I can't remember where I found, but I saved an image of it, and it reads, "Everything peaked in the 70s, including house design. Where are the architects creating houses with a central grooving area these days?" And this image is a floor plan of a square-shaped house with an octagon-shaped grooving area in the middle. Everything is around this central grooving area, and I am so here for it. I imagine they had it laid out as some like giant conversation pit with a fireplace in the middle, which would be my dream house. But let's head over to Pinterest and check out some home ideas that spark joy. This board, along with a handful of other boards, are available to view publicly. I should really go through this again. What do I have that's publicly available? Home inspo, which is specific ideas or specific products that I think are just really neat. I've also got a board for art where I've been painting a lot of like really neat art, and a lot of times you can find the artist's name either in the screenshot itself or in the comments or in the title of the post or something like that. Interior design, which is just general across the board interior design ideas. All rooms of the house, all styles. It does lean a little bit more mid-century modern because that's my personal style, but in a really like fun, contemporary, grounded, realistic kind of way. But I do have plenty of other things on there that are not that style. Mostly just whatever looks interesting. Sparks joy, which we will get to. Plants and garden for any sort of outdoor design ideas. Homemaking, which I am very interested in as a queer person who is kind of in my like little trad wife era right now, but like in a very queer way. I just really love the idea of being intentional about creating your home wherever you are, whether you're in a shitty apartment or in your dream home or whatever. There's also DIY projects, which I have done a Pinterest-worthy DIY video that I'll link somewhere up here. Some very cute things. I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. And everything else is private. So let's get into some interior design ideas that spark joy. These will kind of be all over the place. This first one, making the cord a moment rather than trying to cover it up. Very fascinating. This one I pinned just because of a blue countertop. Like, who has blue countertops like this? I think that's super cute, and it's such a happy color, so if you happen to be replacing your countertops anytime soon, or even just like covering them in peel and stick, I would definitely recommend considering something along these lines. This is one of my favorites, and one that I feel like aligns with where I want to be personally. The text on here says, "Rich because my dishwasher is full of ceramics I made," and it's all sorts of like beautiful earth tones, speckles, everything is mismatched, calm kind of way. This is a fun idea. Vintage pool balls in a chrome bowl. My mom has a chrome bowl almost exactly like this. And I've always hated whenever people put like Christmas ornaments or pine cones or decorative balls that you buy specifically for the purpose of being decorative and put them in a bowl or a glass vase or something. But this feels so cute and so on brand and so eclectic, yet also modern in a way that feels aligned with me, at least personally. This is hilarious and adorable. Here, wait, let's go back. Where just a giant iPod Nano. And this green one was the specific iPod Nano I had when I was in 7th grade. So it's very nostalgic. It's such a fun idea. Is it good design? Depends on how you define good design, right? I don't necessarily know that I would personally consider it aesthetic, but within the context of the rest of this room, it makes sense. And again, it just sparks joy. There's a lot of painted ceilings in here. This one is clouds. Very cute, very like traditional and French. You will feel like Michelangelo if you do this, but also your back and your neck will be killing you. So I would probably recommend not, unless you can figure out a way to like, I don't know, take an old mop and like bunch everything up and like tape it up and kind of like dab the ceiling with it. That might work actually. But yeah, no, if you're trying to like do this by hand with a paintbrush, um, don't. That's my recommendation. Oh, this was cute. Things in my bathroom that make guests fear me a little. And then I'm just not even gonna comment on these because partially I might get demonetized based on some of the words that are in there. But very cute. Okay, my arm's getting tired. We're gonna switch over here. Another person I saw recently was painting some like really fun uneven stripes and like very specifically uneven. They showed an inspo image in here somewhere. There we go. The inspo image. Very cute. Again, it's giving like French trompe-l'oeil or however you say that, but it's also very like fun and cartoony. It's just very adorable. Okay, this is not renter friendly at all, but it's so freaking cute. I don't know if you can see this. Basically using a little stencil, in this case, some sort of flowers, taping it on the wall, spackling over it, and then pulling it off so that you get this little white textured moment. I think that is so cool. Again, do not attempt this if you are a renter. This would be so hard to undo, but very cute. Influencing you to get cheap wall tiles and add colored grout. Now, we have discussed this in some previous videos. It depends on the context. Sometimes colored grout just really doesn't make sense, but I think here it makes a lot of sense. And the key with this is you have to have a perfect tile installation, especially with a grid pattern like this. If there is a single mistake with your white tile and your dark colored grout, your eye is going to immediately go to that mistake. So you cannot fuck this up in order for it to work. But I do appreciate influencing people to get the cheap tiles, because as long as you do it right, you can really do a lot with cheap tiles. Again, with the strange, I don't necessarily know if this sparks joy, but if you are looking for a fascinating way to still hang on to your old phones, some sort of DIY like this candle with old phones in it could be for you. Now, I would not recommend actually burning this candle, or at least burning it all the way down, or at least do a really large pillar candle with the phones on the outside, because I imagine flames and whatever batteries and stuff that's in phones is probably not a good mix. So, safety first, but just a fascinating photo that I came across. These little things are so cute, and they actually remind me exactly of my best friend has a lot of little like guys that they were making out of air dry clay. They weren't incense holders, but they were the same vibe. And so you will probably see some of those in the surprise apartment makeover. So make sure to stay tuned for that. This feels like a much more realistic way of doing something that sparks joy, just painting the windowsills in your house, or the entire window frame, rather. Just a little pop of color, especially if you have really dark winters, like this person said. Very cute. I'm obsessed with this. I don't know why a salmon lamp is the thing that's getting me, but this is one of my favorite things on this Pinterest board. It's just so neat and also so gross because it looks kind of wet. So strange, but also so fun. Such a good conversation starter. If you're gonna do a landline phone, find something fun and vintage like this, because this makes me so friggin' happy, and I don't know why. It's just a triangle instead of a rectangle, but it's so cool. This could be a really fun idea, and something that's more practical, something that's more achievable, to incorporate something that encourages more movement, because a lot of us tend to be much more stationary than we would like to be, whether that's sitting or standing. Having a sit-stand desk is helpful if you actually switch between sitting and standing, but just anything that helps you move your body more, because human bodies are made to move. And incorporating this into your house in a fun way, I really like thinking about it as joyful movement rather than I have to go exercise, you know? Okay, my arm's getting tired again. All right. Here we've got some more painted ceilings and painted floors and painted walls, just like little murals, fun colors. It's just so cute. Like if I walked into a home and it had this, I'd be like, oh, this is so cute. And I immediately trust and want to be friends with whoever lives here because it's just adorable. Naked body because, you know, why not? Especially in a bedroom. It makes more sense in a bedroom where bedrooms are supposed to be kind of like sensual. Oh, this is adorable. And this is also, I feel like this is a very fun way to make a much more aesthetic mobile to hang over a baby crib or something if you've got a baby in your life. Just using some shiny paper. I don't think it's aluminum foil. I think it is just shiny paper. But it's just so fun. And like, especially if you hung it in a window, the ways that it would catch the light when it's moving around would just be so neat. If you are kind of goth, this would be a really fun way to incorporate some of that. It's definitely a bit of a choice when you do it in tile in a way that would be really hard to undo. But if it's your dream home and if you're going to be living there for the rest of your life, go for it. Oh, okay. This is apparently my arm workout for the day is holding this computer up. Oh, again, we've got so many more murals. Lots of murals going on. We've got some painted doors. We've got another painted door. We've got this fun space that is just completely painted. We've got this giant fish, which I think is pretty fun. There's this artist. I love this guy's murals. He did this mural in some fancy hotel, and I'm obsessed with it. We've got a table, painted table. That's a lot of fun, especially if you like find a free table on the side of the road and it's perfectly sturdy in a perfectly fine shape, but you want it to be just a little more interesting. Maybe the wood color is really bad. Maybe the finish on the surface is worn off or something like that. This could be a really fun way to upcycle something like that. Basically, just have fun painting your walls is one of the things that sparks joy. This giant random stuffies, stuffed animals, whatever you call them, adorable. I don't know how practical this would be in terms of like having something to cuddle with, but visually it's intriguing. I love it. It might just become a little bit of a dust magnet, so be careful about that, but super cute. These candles, I don't know what it is about these candles, but I think I love that you can tell that these candles have been used. Like, you don't get this without having used the candles. And something about it feels so much more real to me than having like one perfect candle in a very aesthetic glass jar that's only been lit like twice on special occasions. Like, those are very different vibes. This is very not renter friendly at all, but if you are able to do any sort of fun architectural details like this, if you own your home, never a bad idea. This is so cool. Similar vibe to the giant stuffy, some pleather foot beanbags. Because why not? Again, it's your home. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, yes, things cost money, and also use what you have. Start there, use that as inspiration, and just like get creative. I do love the idea of a little like cozy den, window nook kind of reading nook thing. Obviously, the architecture of this space with the arch and the lime walls and everything definitely adds to it. But the like bright red furry thing. Very strange choice, but I'm not mad at it. Some fascinating wall sconce shades. That's a choice. I will say that for sure. If that's your vibe, it's not quite my vibe. That's maybe a little too much for me, but definitely a conversation starter. And also definitely make sure that if you do DIY anything along the lines of this, get an LED light bulb or don't use real hair or anything that is flammable, because that could be a fire hazard. We're getting this arm workout in today. All right, let's... Oh. Again, more murals. We've got some painting on mirrors, which I think is, again, really cute, really cheap. You can just use whatever mirror you have. You can find a free mirror on Craigslist or Marketplace or something like that. It's just so whimsical. And I feel like that's what a lot of these are getting at, is whimsy or humor or just like creativity that you don't see very often. Again, kind of stained glass adjacent. One of these, I believe it's called a shoji curtain or a pogaji curtain. Either one of those will get you something similar. But yeah, this one, it says, is using some old hankies. But yeah, this would be a great idea for any sort of scrap fabric. And it really gives off this like stained glass effect without, having to learn how to do stained glass and invest in the glass to be able to do stained glass, because glass is real expensive. Again, another simple mural idea, simple in concept, but very well done in execution. Ooh. All right. Oh my gosh. I need to leave in 10 minutes and I'm not even dressed yet. This greenhouse that looks like it belongs in the Wicked movies. I'm obsessed with that. If I could have anything like half as beautiful as that someday, I would be a very happy person. This one I've mentioned before, kind of, but just like vintage tech. So cute. We've got some painted stairs, especially if you have like old wooden stairs that aren't in the best condition visually, but they're still perfectly fine structurally. That's perfect for that. A little cat hideout hole. That's so cute. Again, not renter friendly at all. Or if you are a renter, you would have to figure out some way to like build this into something that looks built in but isn't actually built in so that you can still take it with you. Some fun lava lamps. I don't normally recommend a lava lamp unless you're going for a full-on 70s vibe. But I do also have some other lava lamps pinned in here. They are fun, and I don't even like to get high, but they are fun. Let's see, what else? Let's do a couple more, because I need to get going. I need to, like, clean up here, I need to get dressed, I need to leave so that I can meet my mom and sister at the gym, because I'm going to the gym with my mom and sister now, because my mom has cancer. So we're trying to do more things as a family. She's not dying. Everything will be fine. But, we're trying to, like, spend more time together. Again, a really cute idea for some scrap fabric, fun little DIY, just reupholster something in a patchwork way, but like not in an old grandma kind of patchwork way, more in like a fun modern color blocky kind of patchwork way, if that makes sense. There's so many fun ideas in here. I'm really gonna have to do a second video because there are just too many ideas. Okay, let's do one more. Let's find one more. Okay, well this one I just have to show you because it has nothing to do with home design, but it's one of my favorite things in this entire world. If you can find this video with the sound, I would recommend finding that. It's just so cute, and I had to, okay. One more home design related something or other. Okay, let's do these. Very nerdy, very sciencey, very cute, very aesthetic. I love any sort of... these don't even look like tiles. This looks like they wallpapered it with illustrations out of some like old science textbook or something. But I have also seen tiles where it has like an old vintage illustration of flowers or birds or fish or something like that. And it's so freaking cute. So anyways, that is it for my interior design ideas that spark joy. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and do all the YouTubey things that tell the algorithm to show you my videos. Apparently hype is a thing now. I don't really understand what it is. I think it's just like some sort of virtual points thing. But if you're on your phone and you go down to the comment section and you swipe right, you should be able to access it. I don't know. And if you want to support me in my mission in bringing interior design to people who couldn't otherwise afford to hire a designer, head over to patreon.com/medorakia or join as a channel member below. Also, I don't want to spoil too much of what's going on behind me, but if you live on the West Coast and you want to win a real-life makeover with me, I'm going on tour and traveling around the West Coast, living out my van life dreams this summer from about April to October. So if you want to win a makeover with me, make sure to check out the link in the description to apply. Make sure to drink some water, watch out for your neighbors, and I will see you next time. Bye. It is noon exactly. I need to friggin' go. Okay.